What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Welcome back to another retro review. So this is going to sort of be like a retro hybrid review because I'm going to be reviewing The Chi, but I'm starting from season 1 because I've always wanted to look at The Chi, but I was never able. I didn't have Showtime. So now that I have access to Showtime, I can watch The Chi, but I'm going to watch it from the beginning. And I figure, hey, why not let you guys experience it for me? I quickly realized that The Chi is very much a wire type show that is very action packed. It's a full hour and it's a full hour of action, and there's a lot of information, and all of it connects back. Like, it's all connected. So this is season 1, episode 1. So we start off the episode with we meet Kuji, and his real name is Charles. And the thing was, we don't get people's names from the beginning. So we start the day off with Kuji. We see him going all around the city. At first, I didn't know if Kuji was a boy or a girl because all this beautiful flowing hair. And he's riding around on his bike, and he's going all around Chicago. And we see him go by the 77th Street Market, which this is going to I feel like this market is going to sort of be like a focal point of the show because we see it a few times throughout the episode. But he's down there and he is haggling for some beef jerky, honey. And he does a really good job. Like, he is able to get the owners to give him the beef jerky for like 50 cents after he proves that they are already making their quota making their profit, child. So we see him end up in an alley feeding the jerky to a dog. Now, I don't know if this is a dog that he's become friendly with through his travels through the city, or if it's a dog that he realizes being abused and he's sort of taking care of it. But he's talking to the dog and everything, and he hears a car pull up and a body being dumped, basically. So he goes to investigate to see what it is. He rolls up on the body, and I don't remember if they heard the gunshots, and they may have heard the gunshots. I don't remember per se, but he rolls up on the dead body. It's a little kid, a teenager, and I saw it in his eyes before he even did it. He proceeds to start basically taking shoes off of the teenager's feet. He had a necklace around his neck, and I'm thinking, boy, don't you do it. And here come the police. We hear the police sirens in the background, and somebody comes out on their porch and basically tells him, yo, get on. And so he runs off. He hides his bike. He leaves the shoes, the cell phone. He took the cell phone too. Leaves the shoes, the cell phone, the jewelry, where he hid his bike. And then he proceeds to walk off. He puts the hoodie on to cover up his hair, and he starts walking off. Honey, the police end up catching up to him, child. I don't know who saw him walking away, but it don't matter. The police get him. They arrest him. So next we see, I'm going to try to go in order because, like I said, everything is connected. So next we see Brandon he's working at a restaurant, right? Brandon wants to be a chef. He has dreams. Him and his girlfriend, what's her name, Jerika, they have dreams of opening up their own restaurant, but right now he is just trying to get on the line. And he's working at a restaurant. The wife tells him, the wife is like, listen, so-and-so done quit. We're going to go ahead and give you a chance to work the line. Of course, this is like the first step to, moving up. And he said, he got to make more money so they can put more money aside so him and his girl can open up this restaurant. They have these big dreams, right? Then we meet, oh, shoot. Looks like I keep up with all these names, Shy. Y'all know how I'm with my names, but I took my notes, okay? I took my notes. Then we meet, no, actually, that's not who we met next, but it doesn't matter. We run into, Jason is the name of the kid who passed away. Jason. Then we meet Keisha and her little brother, Kevin. And they're on their way to school. And he lets her, basically, they just having this conversation, and he lets her know that, that there's somebody that he likes. He's asking to use her cell phone so he could text the girl. And she was like, yo, okay, that's cute. So we see Kevin go to school, and Kevin's got his 2 best friends, honey. He's got the little thick boy, and then he's got the other little, I guess he's going to be like the little pretty boy. And the girls end up convincing, I can go ahead and do this, go and get them out the way. The girl that he likes convinces him to sign up for the musical The Wiz, the trial for The Wiz. And his boys, of course, are like, what? Like, just ask her out. Like, you going through too much to ask her out. And he was like, I'm going to ask her. I got to wait for the right time. And so they go to lunch. And they, the girl done bought him a script and everything. And he was like, right. And, of course, he doesn't ask her again. And his boys are like, if you don't ask her out on a damn date, like, what is wrong with you? Then he finally shows up to the audition later on that day. He goes in and the teacher, sees him and basically checks him in. He checks his name off the list and everything. Like, okay, you were here, to audition. He was like, what part you want to audition for? And the girl that he likes talking about some of the Tin Man. He was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. So he ends up just asking the girl. He was like, listen, you want to go to a movie or something sometime, go to the mall? And she was like, sure, when? And he was like, Saturday. And she was like, sure. No, she was like, Saturday I can't make it because I'm already going to the movies with, I done forgot the boy's name. I didn't write it down, but his friend, the pretty boy. He was like, dude, what? He ends up running out. And we'll get back to them because that part, that's later on. But we'll get back to them. So then we see a guy. I believe that's Ronnie. Older guy, looked like he's seen better days. It's clear that he's a drinker because, honey, he got a beer first thing in the morning, and he's out there with his boys. The police come through and come pick him up, and of course his boys are like, he ain't do nothing. We don't worry about it, Ronnie. We got you, man. We got you, man. We call them. They pull out their phone and they calling people and stuff. And the police officer, it looks like he used to be an informant or something, because Ronnie tells the police officer, he was like, I told you I don't do that no more. Like, I told you I'm not doing that no more. Or I'm not helping you anymore, or something along those lines. He was like, listen, I need to tell you something. It's about Jason. And so he's like, what about Jason? So come to find out, Ronnie is Jason's stepdad, the only father he really knew. And Jason's mom is like the love of his life. Like, they were having a whole conversation about her before the police officer even rolled up. It's a white cop. And like I said, clearly the two of them have some sort of a relationship. They have some sort of a rapport with each other. Now, in the meantime, so they they take him down to the morgue, and we meet Jason's mom. And of course, she's doing what her mom's doing. She's falling out. She's crying, and she's feeling some kind of way about the situation. And she was just like, why my son? I don't understand. Come to find out, Jason was like a star athlete, very well known, like all city. Like, he's one of those kids. And they were trying to figure out, well, what the hell was he doing there? Because where his body was found was on the corner of a well-known drug dealer that the whole city knows, and was also very much in front of one of his houses, one of his stash houses that, of course, everybody knows. So they were like, well, what was he doing there? And of course, those are those questions that you ask, but then you looking like, well, what you trying to say? Like, I don't know why he was there, but he wasn't doing nothing he wasn't supposed to be doing. Like, back up off my child, So then we see the cop talking to Coogee. And at first, Coogee is playing it, he's joking, he's talking about police brutality. He's making all these jokes about, telling the police officer that he don't have the right kicks on, and he should be wearing some Timberlands. Like, it's all a joke. And then he says that he was like, you do realize this isn't a joke, right? Like, this isn't funny. And he was like, well, what you mean? Like, he said, listen, you were up for murder. Like, and he was like, I didn't do nothing. Like, so then he started like telling him what was really going on. And he told him about the dog and all of that. And the cop actually believes him. And you see the cop talking to another police officer who was really trying to pin it on Coogee. And he was like, listen, this little boy had nothing to do with it. Like, yeah, he was there, and he probably was robbing the little boy, but he didn't kill him. And so they're going to kick him loose. They're going to let him go. Now, the other characters we meet Mr. Sneakerhead Emmett and Keisha. Now, Keisha, remember I told y'all, Keisha is Kevin's sister. The one who was telling, he was using her cell phone, and, she was like, oh, my brother, okay, da-da-da-da-da. Now, they're over at Emmett's house getting it in, honey. Keisha done skipped school. I'm not really sure how old Keisha is, but I believe Keisha's supposed to be in school. But either way, she's skipping school with Emmett. She's over at Emmett's house. Emmett talking about something. He got to keep a lookout for his mom. He in the window wanting her to give him head in the window. Next thing you know, Mama is rolling up, okay? Mama is rolling up. He makes her hide under the bed naked or half naked under the bed. She done found text messages on his phone from another chick. I mean, Emmett is just doing a whole lot, right? Mama comes in there and starts fussing at him about making bad decisions and, get drunk all the time, smoking weed, having sex, whatever. I don't think she said nothing about drunk. I think she said smoking weed and having sex. But she realizes that Keisha's under the bed, honey. And she says, "What's your name?" And he was like, "What you mean, what's your name?" She was like, I ain't talking to you, I'm talking to her. And she's sitting on the bed, but she's looking at him sitting on the bed like, I know she's under this bed. So then, of course, she's like, "Keisha." She was like, "Keisha, would you like breakfast? You want some eggs and some bacon?" She was like, "Yes, ma'am." She was like, "Well, we don't have no bacon. We got sausage. But you can have some." And she's giving, the whole time, she's staring at him, looking at him like, "You sorry, Saka." You know what I'm saying? And so, next thing you know, we see Emmett. Now, Emmett got all these sneakers lined up, honey. Now, I don't know what kind of job he has or doesn't have, but honey, he got all these sneakers lined up, child. Next thing you know, we see Emmett down at the shoe store buying some more sneakers. And some chick rolls up on him with a baby in a stroller, and they get to arguing. She says, "Listen, I tried to be nice to you. I tried to let this, roll out the nice way, but you gonna make me have to get my brothers involved." And basically, she's saying that the baby belongs to Emmett, and that Emmett need to come and handle his business. But Emmett's thing was, that ain't my baby. And he says, they get into this argument like they about to get put out the damn shoe store. So finally he says, "You know what, we about to go take a test right now, because that's not my child." Now we find out Emmett got 2 more kids. He was like, because Shaquisha and Juan, those mine. He ain't mine. And just because you named him after me, don't make him mine. She was like, all right then. So they go to have a paternity test, child. You know that baby his, right? Mama told, and not only what is the baby his, but the baby mama then dropped the baby off with the paternity test in the diaper bag and was like, "You handle it." Mama told Emmett, "No, that's not, but I'm not doing this babysitting your child. No, ma'am, Pam, I'm not babysitting your child. That's not what I'm doing." And ends up giving Emmett his child and tells Emmett that he need to figure it out, and that she was on, she wasn't on grandma duty. Because I guess she was like, "You got 2 more kids that you struggling, barely taking care of. You ain't gonna put a 3rd one on me." So we'll get back to Emmett. So next we see we are back to getting my names, Brandon and Jerica. Jerica's picking Brandon up from work, and what we realize is that Jerica comes from the good side of town, right? She got a little bit of money, a little bit of education about her. Brandon comes from the other side of town, but he's trying to do something with himself. Like I said, he's trying to get him a restaurant and all of that. But Brandon mama done shown up unannounced and drunk at the apartment, and Jerica is like, "I don't know what you want me to do with her. She at the apartment drunk. I don't know what you want me to do with her." Honey, we get to the apartment, and who is at the apartment? Dag on my girl Kima from The Wire, honey. And Kima is playing the ultimate crackhead drunk mama, and she is telling Brandon, "Your brother, they done picked up your brother. He is down at the jail, and you need to take me to go pick him up." And she's talking to him all kinds of crazy. "You ain't shit. Y'all ain't got shit." She talking crazy to the girlfriend. And I was just sitting there like, now I understand why Brandon was like acting the way he was acting. And poor Jerica, you torn between wanting to cuss her out but not disrespecting your boyfriend's mama. Like, it was a lot. She was doing a lot. And I mean, like I said, she was being all kinds of, calling him all kinds of ain't shit type motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? So then you start connecting a few dots, right? We see Keisha, who was William's sister with Emmett. Now we're saying that Koji is Brandon's brother, right? We're making these connections. So they go down to the police station. They done let Koji out. They done released him. And, So then we see Brandon and the mom getting into another argument. And Brandon basically tells let Koji come and stay with me. Like, you clearly can't take care of him. You know, you let him come and stay with me. And it'll be good. And of course, she was like, so what you trying to say, that I ain't no shit mother and I can't do this and I can't do that? Well, I raised you. It's a whole lot. But long story short, Koji ends up going home with Brandon. He ends up going home with Brandon. And we see that they they have a good moment. He cooks for him and he lets him know that he's got an opportunity to be on the line. He's got sort of like an audition to be on the line and everything. So they're having a good little family moment. You see that Koji's gonna be staying with them for a little while. And Koji ends up leaving. He was like, yo, I gotta go get my bike before somebody steals it. I gotta go get my bike or whatever. So we know Koji's gonna be heading back over to that side of town to, go get his bike. And then we see Brandon leaving to go to work. So in the meantime, So in the meantime, we have a moment between Robbie and Jason's mom. And they have a whole moment. And basically at the end of it, she was like, listen, you need to go find who killed my son. You know the police don't give a damn. You know the police ain't going to do it. You need to go find who killed my son. And basically she basically lets him know you ain't shit unless you, like, if you can't do this for me, then, what kind of dad are you? So we see him going out. We see him asking around. And he goes to the drug dealer that corner belongs to. And he says, listen, all I know is my lookout boy saw him. So he goes to the lookout boy. The lookout boy describes Koji. Says he got the big hair. He be riding his bike. And then from there, how did they make that connection? Somehow I think he said he saw him. He said, I saw him this morning come get the bike. I think he went over to the market. Like I said, that 77th Street market is like a focal point. So they go back. So he ends up going over to the market. He heads over to the market to look for Koji. Now, at the same time, let's go back to William and his friends. Remember, I told you William found out that his boy had asked the girl out that he had liked, that he had been trying to work up the nerve to ask out all day. His boy told him, you waited too long. They got into it. They got to cussing and going at each other about the fight. And finally, William was like, yo, both y'all can kiss my ass and I'm out of here. He ends up walking up the alley. The two boys are still behind him like, come on, man. Like, So they're walking up the alley just as Koji is coming out the store and Robbie is rolling up on Koji. He was like, and what happened was when Koji went back to go get his bike and stuff, he sold the sneakers to Emmett. Remember, I told you Emmett is a sneakerhead. He sold the sneakers to Emmett. And he put the chain around his neck. And when he put it around his neck, I was like, why would you put that chain around your neck? Like, dude, that's not smart, but he's a kid. He's a kid. So when Robbie rose up on him, he was like, yo, I need to ask you some questions. Of course, the first thing he saw was that chain. And he was like, where you get that chain from? I bought my son that chain. That's not your chain. I bought it for my son. He was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I found it. He was like, no, you got that from my son. You didn't find nothing. That's my son. And so Koji was like, yo, here, you can have it. Take it. Take the chain. Like, you can have it. He was like, no, I need to talk to you. And he ends up pulling a gun out. So now Koji is really scared. And he was like, yo, I didn't do nothing. Get off me. They get to tussling. The gun goes off. He shoots Koji. Koji's dead. Right? All over a misunderstanding. Bad decisions and misunderstandings. Because, like I said, Koji should have never put that chain on. He should have never robbed Jason, but he did not kill Jason. Now, just as that was going on, William saw what was going on, and he told his friends to go hide. And he was hiding, and they were hiding. And when Robbie ran past him, they made eye contact. So Robbie saw him, and he saw Robbie. Right? Oh, Lord, child. So then we're at the funeral for Koji. And of course, Brandon gives this great speech about how they were half brothers, but he never looked at him as a half brother. He was his real brother. And after the funeral, the mama cusses Brandon out and says, listen, you said he wasn't going to do shit with me, and he was with you less than 24 hours and came up murdered. And of course, Brandon was like, you can't put that on me. I didn't have nothing to do with it. That becomes a whole moment. So then Brandon is on the lookout trying to figure out who killed his brother. So somehow he rolls up on Emmett. I don't even remember now. But Emmett was like, yo, your brother sold me some sneakers. And somehow another, I don't remember now, y'all, but somehow another Brandon found out that there was a rumor that William had seen who shot Koji. And he goes by William's house, and William was like, listen, you trying to get me killed. Like, I didn't see nothing. I don't know nothing. I ain't in it. Don't put me in it. Don't ask me nothing. Dead it. Don't know nothing about it. And he was like, yo, I'm just trying to figure out who killed my brother. Like, you got to help me. So William ends up finagling Koji's bike from him and some more stuff. But he ends up telling him who it was that shot his brother. So now he knows that it was Robbie. I want to make sure that I got everything, because Lord, it was a lot, y'all. It was a lot. Hold on, let me check. Let me make sure I got it all. Let me check my notes. Yeah, that was it. The only other thing was Brandon did get the job. He ended up doing the line audition. After Koji's funeral, he had a moment. His boss told him, listen, we don't have to do this. He was like, I need something to occupy my mind. And he knocked it out the box. So he did end up getting the job. So I think that sort of made him maybe think a little bit about his next move as far as getting revenge, I guess, based on the fact that his other dream is about to come true. So that was the end of the episode. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in those comments. Peace.